It all started with that dramatic press conference and the fear of the unknown.
The information that we've gathered over the course of the last 48 hours is slightly concerning, and we want to dig a bit deeper, but we want some experts to help us do that.
If there have been goings-on within our football club that are not right, we want to know. It's my belief, though, that we have done everything right. And that our players have done everything right as well.
And from then, the spotlight was firmly on the Essendon Football Club. The players were shielded from the questions, training behind locked gates, but the coach couldn't avoid it, nor could the skipper.
Obviously, it's a club investigation, and the AFL and Nasada will investigate, and really looking forward to them doing it.
But Essendon's crisis became the prelude for what was labelled the darkest day in Australian sport.
The work that the Australian Crime Commission has done has found the use of prohibited substances, including peptides, hormones and illicit drugs, is widespread amongst professional athletes.
If you want to dope and cheat, we will catch you. If you want to fix a match, we will catch you.
As fears for Australian sport skyrocketed, the AFL moved quickly to calm its fans, calling a Sunday press conference to put some perspective on the scandal.
What we know right now is the 2 instances of potential performance-enhancing drug use identified, no potential issues around match fixing, some vulnerabilities and use of illicit substances. That's what we know.
The Bombers held an extraordinary meeting to brief the players' parents at Windy Hill, and while sacked sports scientist Stephen Dank refrained from official questioning, he did offer some insight through select media interviews.
I think you've got 18 clubs that are all very well coached and obviously all have a very good high-performance unit, and they're all looking for a cutting edge.
Dank claimed James Hird knew all about his supplements program, saying he had even administered banned drugs to the Bombers champion and some of his assistants. Those allegations sparked calls for Hird's sacking.
I mean, this sort of speculation is never good for anyone, so we're just keen to get on with the investigation, clear everything up and get into the season.
The speculation, we're not engaging in any conversation other than what I said yesterday. There's an investigation that's ongoing. We're working with that investigation, and we're certainly not going to provide any commentary on that investigation.
The Bombers then called on former Telstra Chief Executive Ziggy Switkowski to conduct an independent review of the club.
The board and I are now aware of irregular practices in the club, and we also know that this is being investigated by ASADA and the AFL.
Whilst the crisis continued, the start of the season provided a welcome distraction, and Essendon made the most of it with some of the most spirited wins in the club's history.
7 seconds. This will be a famous victory for the Bombers. Coming through is Goddard. They've got it won. Listen to the siren. What sweet music it is for the Bombers. What a comeback. What a win.
Thank you so much. I personally just thank you. Thank you.
Switkowski handed down his report declaring a club chief executive must be accountable for everything that happens. Ian Robson soon fell on his sword.
We let down our players and their families. How seriously we let them down is still a matter under investigation. But I sit here today saying that our club let those people down, and there is no excuse in not knowing.
The drug AOD 9604 had become a household name, and then Job Watson made that startling admission.
I signed the consent form, and my understanding after it being given through Bruce Reid and the club that I was receiving AOD, yeah.
And you were receiving it thinking it was legal at the time?
That it was legal at the time, and that was actually what I was told I was being given.
Despite Watson's honesty, the club remained confident he would keep his Brownlow medal.
Do you think there's any doubt at all?
I don't believe so. With the facts that the facts I have, I don't believe it's in doubt.
West Coast fans had other ideas, relentlessly booing the Bombers captain, but it was Watson who had the last laugh.
5 goals to 1 this quarter for the Bombers in a huge comeback against the West Coast Eagles.
Amid the controversy, Essendon reached a club record 55,000 members. But an emotional James Hird showed the negative media reports were taking their toll.
The half-truths, rhetoric,
and lies that have been spun about myself. Very hurtful.
The sooner this thing is over, the better for everyone. Because this is affecting so many people's lives. It's got to the point that if it's not over very quickly, it's going to affect people's lives permanently.
That toll too great on David Evans, who resigned after the stress started to affect his health.
It is a big travesty what's happened to David, and we all wish him well. He's a terrific person.
Paul Little took over as chairman in what was to be a tumultuous week for the Bombers, as former fitness boss Dean the Weapon Robinson unleashed on James Hird.
They put a scenario to Steve, and Steve said to Danny and James, specifically to them, what you're asking me to do is black ops. I've got no respect for the guy anymore. Should he be sacked? That's for the board to decide. If it was honourable, he'd stand down.
Can you trust Dean Robinson?
Who knows?
The Barbs continued to fly as ASADA prepared to lay bare its findings and unveil just what was at the root of the Essendon supplement scandal.